welcome back to Do It Myself Garage. I don't know if I mentioned last time, but the shift points, I didn't seem like it was shifting out at first. So I got this, it's like a jeweler's kit. It has some really small screwdrivers in it. I use the one with the smaller tip. Got it in there. I think it has an Allen wrench head too, but it also has a slot in mine. To back it out 2.5 or 3 turns and actually to get it to shift. It actually still seems like it's shifting a little bit high. But we'll see. I have to test it out, drive it a little bit. I'll show you here. Got the car on the charger. I must have a little bit of a drain, or maybe I never got the battery completely topped off. I'm not sure. Been touching up a little bit of paint. I had scratched up the paint on the front of the head here when I put the motor in, so I touched that up a little bit. For the shift points, I made sure I had vacuum. I was worried that phenolic spacer actually had covered up the vacuum ports, but I was good there. One of the problems I'm still having is I still don't have enough brakes. So I've just got to keep getting the air out of the lines. You know, brand new lines. And I got lots of air in them. So as I mentioned before, I've got this Pittsburgh brake bleeder. As much as the reviews, everybody says how bad it is. It seemed to work pretty good. Like I say, I just haven't gotten them completely bled, and I don't think it's the fault of this. It's more the fault of the operator. So I'll keep working on it. We'll get there. I got the brackets for the exhaust. So I bought these off of Inline Tube. These are the brackets for the Ram Air III Exhaust Manifolds. So as you can see, it's not a perfect triangle. That's what the guy at the muffler shop warned me about. He says, yeah, it's not a perfect triangle. You can't just use any one. It has to be one that has the right pattern. So I'm going to go get some studs and then bring these up to him so he can work on it. Now that I have it shifting, I feel a little bit better about getting it up there. As you can see, I have a little bit of a leak on my transmission pan. Definitely going to have to get that fixed. It's coming off just the pan, nowhere else. So I'll have to work on that here this week because she's losing a good cup, at least a cup a day. All right, let's start up with the new exhaust. This is a cold start. I better pump the pedal at least once. Choke set. Unfortunately, I'm really not going to get much else done this week on the car. Might come on here tonight and work on it a little bit. Got to disconnect the battery. My ignition switch, I did that just a second ago on the video. But I did the cold start, let you hear it. But the ignition switch literally fell out of the dash again. So there's something wrong with that whole collar. I don't want to take a chance of setting the car on fire. I want to pull the dash out and do the rally gauges anyway. So I think that's going to be my project for next week. I'll get all that done, get that ignition switch figured out so I'm not messing with that. The transmission still is not shifting properly. It'll shift basically with the governor, with the wide open throttle, which I've been trying not to do too many high RPMs with the brand new motor. But the vacuum modulator does not appear to be working properly. So to test that out, I was going to take my vacuum pump that I bought from Harbor Freight, run a hose down to that, and try to pull vacuum. Well, with the ignition switch failing today, that didn't happen, along with I needed to do an emergency brake change on my 2014 Enclave. There'll be a separate video for that if the video turned out okay. So just a lot of stuff going on. Again, as I mentioned before, life happens. Just keep plugging away in your projects. I did manage to get over to a car show right after I got the exhaust put on up at Exhaust Pros. Roger up there is great. He does a great job. Very reasonable prices. So I had him do the exhaust, and then Moose Lodge had their car show with 3/4 of a mile away. I drove over there, and then I ended up winning a $50 gift certificate to Auto Value. Well, I just did the brakes on the van with parts from Auto Value because they were pretty much paid for the rear brake pads. So yeah, it's just funny how things work out. Again, don't get discouraged if you get interrupted. Just keep plugging away at it. You've got to get out in the garage. You've got to get working on the project. You know, at least once a week. Try every day to do something, and even if that's just making a list of things that you need. Try to do something every day. Come out and organize something. Like, oh, you know what, I'm going to clean up the workbench today. That'll make you more likely to work on the car the next time. So just keep plugging away. Again, thanks for everybody for liking, commenting, subscribing. I'm hoping to get this car roadworthy enough to go down to No Name Nationals. That's a bit of a drive, so this car has got to be in great working order. If it's not, I'm not gonna risk it. I do a lot of driving around town here. That's where I'm most comfortable with. But I do want to take it to car shows. You know, I think 100 miles away is the furthest car show that I've went to so far with it in previous years before I did the rebuild. But now, obviously, I get it rebuilt, I should be able to go further. Well, I've got to get everything solid. I still found I had one more brake leak. I got that tightened up. Tell you what, that brake fluid, it ate all the paint right off the frame where it was leaking. So, do not get brake fluid on anything that you like the paint on. Anyway, again, thanks everybody for following along. Like, subscribe, all that great stuff. Thanks again, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.